Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? Yeah, we are getting some relatively interesting information lately these weeks, and I truly been looking forward to seeing what Special 7 will kind of turn. Oh my god. Will kind of turn out to. Um, At this point in time, I've seen quite a few people, like kind of dumb down this show in the case of like trying to compare it to shows that they either think it is or compare it to, or just say it's not very good in general because of the pacing, because of what they're getting in general as of week to week. And I fully disagree, but at the same time, I'm not here to disprove that they're wrong or whatever, but at the same time, I'm not going to tell you that they're right because I don't believe it. So if I don't believe it, I could be the one example of this show being actually relatively good and have some type of, build up actually commencing in it, unlike some build-ups where it's not really a build-up, it's just rather relatively what you already know, and it just kind of expands on it. Which you can also kind of see it this that way in this show as well, because we already knew some stuff about the old man and him trying to cause problems, but at the same time, we never really took it as like, oh, we know he was trying to cause trouble, but we didn't know exactly what he would be capable of causing. We didn't know what the heck he could actually do. So that's what's really being like built up now, is showing us every single week that he's doing something new, he's doing something, innovative, he's doing something to get stronger, he's doing something to pretty much break these seals that we learn, as well as it's almost as if he wants the guys to win the Special Seven so they can break these so-called seals, right? Like, why why have uh why have a conversation about something that supposedly you knew like he knew the seals were there. So why is talking about them being broken like a talking point for him? So I don't know. I might be looking too far into that, but at the same time, I feel like it has to have some type of meaning, right? Like it should mean something at the end of the day. So I do look forward to seeing if it does mean something. But overall, though, we're getting some pretty fun storytelling, in my opinion. The rookie cop continuously is showing weird signs of having like powers of some sort, or what I thought it was this week is the boss showed his true power and kind of like possessed him to give him like a little bit more strength or a little bit of defense or something along those lines, which would also make sense um, why the main bad guy was talking about he just pretty much had a reunion of 9 years after that happened, right? So that kind of gave me the instance to think that either when he was taken over, old boy could sense it, like he actually knew he was taken over, and once it happened, because as we saw this week's episode, his eyes were literally a dragon's eyes. So it's an easy call to be like, yeah, he's probably one of, if not the last, like humanoid dragons or something. And then that's what we thought, and come to find out the boss might be one as well, seeing how it would make sense with his familiar. Not only his familiar, this week's episode, he was telling us in detail, like, what it is dragons do and why we should be okay at certain aspects, and leading our second main guy to ask the question, how do you know all these things about a dragon that pretty much should, they've been extinct for years and years and years, so how would you have any type of information, not only have information, but correct information about what's truly going on here? So that was a very interesting part of this week's episode, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some type of answer for it, right? Like I expect to see some type of answer, but if we don't get one, like a like an answer soon this week, I'm guessing we'll get one sooner or later when it comes down to just how everything's kind of turning out in the show. Everything kind of I don't know, works itself out in a way. So to see this not like working itself out in some type of way doesn't seem like it's going to happen. 'Cause, I mean, like I've said, this show has some really, really interesting plot choices, like plot in how they're using characters and moving them around throughout the story. But not only that, we then get to see what every character is kind of bringing to the table every week when it comes down to these operations, when it comes down to dismantling people without killing them and stuff like that. It just goes to show you that if they were capable of just going all full out and not having to hold back to save anybody, these things would probably go by a lot quicker, right? Like, these days would 100% be a much faster and instant types of things. So, I don't know. I definitely look forward to seeing how everything kind of continuously goes because as of right now, I'm not truly sure what we're going to see with this show. I mean, we have an old man that seemingly is a dragon or some type of man possessed by a dragon that's trying to quote unquote break seals. And after hearing about these said seals, if they're broken, it sounds like it will turn into a disaster like the main boss was talking about. If it was a real dragon, then we would have stood no chance. It could have destroyed a whole entire country, right? So that's what these seals are more or less sounding like to me, with more and more time of them talking about it. So I am interested in that overall fact, as if that is why this is happening, like, or that is why he is, especially doing places where these quote-unquote seals exist. And if that is the case, it looks like he's already about to be in a position to make some huge game-changing moves for himself, and our squad might not be ready for it. But this week's episode was pretty hype as a whole, just handling the situation that was already started from last week and getting straight into it, handling the people that they needed to take out, even though they're like kind of amateurs at fighting and stuff like that. So it was really easy, but then you go back and look at just how much how much stuff was happening even like down low. It, that was my only like downside of this week's episode is down in the basement. We just get like a quick little look and then it was over, right? Like it was like, oh, this is happening down here. Now it's over. I didn't really care for that as a whole. I mean, I don't think anyone really did because it was kind of annoying to see something that quick and then just have it ripped away. But let me know if you felt differently about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one on that one. But to know that the brother or the cop that has helped our rookie even become like or start to become who he is today could be the same person that he might have to fight against is still pretty hype in my mind. Like it's still pretty crazy that that's going to be a thing sooner or later. So I can't wait to see how that plays out. Overall, though, guys, I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening. I'm about to get chopped up. And I will definitely talk to you in the next one. So with all that being said, take care and peace. Oh, God. Bow. Let's go. Uh, wow, why does fix high stands, please? So inaccurate. Look at that.